Hey, it's time for Voice Over Body Shop. I hope I remember how to do all this after a couple of weeks. We've got a great guest tonight. Joining us from Atlanta is Laya and Cyla Hoffman.
Hi. Hey, guys.
Great to have you on. We're going to talk about all the cool stuff that they do in their podcast and their voiceover careers. If you have a question for them, throw it in the chat room in either Facebook or in LinkedIn, or if you're on YouTube. And it's all you have to do is just type in a question, because you're going to have a whole pile of questions for them, right?
We hope so. We're here for it, aren't we, Cyla?
Mm-hmm. All right. Are we all ready? It's time for VoiceOver Body Shop right now. VoiceOver Body Shop is brought to you by VoiceOverEssentials.com, the home of Harlan Hogan's signature products. Source Elements, the folks who bring you Source Connect. VOHeroes.com, become a hero to your clients with award-winning voiceover training. VoiceActor.com, your voiceover website ready in minutes. VoiceOver Extra, your daily resource for voiceover success. And by World Voices, the Industry Association of Freelance Voice Talent. And now, here's your hosts, Dan and George. Well, hello there. I'm Dan Leonard.
And I'm George Whittam.
I'm glad you remembered that. And this is VoiceOver
Body Shop.
Or VOBS. All righty. Well, we're back after off for a while.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah. I had to go to a wedding in Denver, so the wife and I decided to take a long, extended road trip. And George said, "Look, if you're going to go to Monument Valley, you have to go to the spot where Forrest Gump turned around from the run." And there I am.
He's like, "I'm tired of running. Yeah. I don't want to run no." I don't remember the line, but yeah, it's a classic spot. It's amazing. And it's cool because Dan, my girlfriend, and I did that trip, a similar trip into Colorado and back 2 years ago. It's a heck of a drive, but man, is it incredibly beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, we went through, my wife's cousin is a geologist, and he spends a lot of time in Utah. So we drove a lot through Utah, saw petroglyphs that are 4,000 years old. We saw dinosaur footprints that were 150 million years old. It was really cool. And then we woke up one morning and said, "We've seen enough rocks. Let's go home."
Right. Yeah, I know. There's a lot of amazing stuff to see in Utah when you pass 3 or 4 of the most beautiful national parks, because you just seen enough. You're good.
Right. We didn't need to see Bryce and Zion. That was the original thought. And we're like, we're all tired.
By that point, you're like, "Oh man, we're pooped. Let's go home."
Absolutely. Well, I think we should introduce our guests, because that's really why we're here. Atlanta-based Laya Hoffman is a full-time professional voice actress with 20 years experience and a rich professional background in marketing, PR management, music, and media. She's been working with leading brands around the world. Not only that, Laya and her kid voice actor daughter, Cyla, have created a unique unscripted podcast, She Sounds Like Me. Sounds like fun. And they are both One Voice Award winners. Cyla won the Best Children's Voiceover Performance in the Under 18 category. Is that like the weight categories things? And Laya won for the Television Web Promo Best Overall Performance. So let's welcome, joining us from Atlanta is Laya and Cyla Hoffman. Hey, Goyles.
Hey. Hey, gents. How are ya?
We're good, and we're so thrilled to have you with us. And
thank you for having us. It's a total honor to be a part of your 12-year running successful cast. So thanks for letting
Cyla stay up late.
I know, right?
We know it's pretty late.
It is. It's 8:00 in Atlanta, but we're happy to rock the bedtime to just be a part of your thing. I was telling Cyla that you guys have been doing this show longer than she's been alive.
Okay, you
How's
didn't have
that?
to
Long time. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And we haven't aged a bit.
Sure.
You think this would age us a little bit. Anyway, let's talk about you and your careers. Now, Laya, what drew you to voiceover, and how did both of you get started? I mean, you having a kid there that's like, hey, get in front of the microphone and stuff. But tell us about your career first and how you got going.
Sure. I think just like every music junkie 20 years ago in the 90s, when you just wanted to share all the cool underground sound that was coming out of your area. I was in Chicago. I was a nightclub DJ at the time, and I just wanted to always share the best music that was coming, to me. And so when I moved to Colorado, I had an opportunity. Well, first I went to school for radio broadcasting at Columbia in Chicago, and never really finished school, but got all the education that I needed to pursue a career in radio. And so when I took some time and moved to Colorado, I had an opportunity to join the local radio station there and be the evening host. And then from there, created a show of my own that was syndicated in some of the mountain towns. And so I got to fulfill my dream of bringing my own music to the masses out there. And, back then, us radio jocks, especially in small, mid-sized market stations, we were always just doing the spots. That's the job. You voice the commercials, you voice the advertisers, they cut your checks, and you cut tape, right? Back when we literally had to slice and dice audio ourselves and tape reels together. And so I didn't even know what I was doing was voiceover. But
what's a reel? Is that some type
what's
of
a
old
reel?
band?
That is a 10-year-old's question for sure.
It's like a tape cassette.
It's
but
like,
you probably don't know what that
dialing
is
telephone.
either.
Yeah,
you dial the phone, you spool up the reel. Come on, kid, get with
It's
the
like,
program.
whatever, Mom.
Okay. Continue.
Exactly. So, see, I'm dating myself. And that was 24 years ago. And I was doing it and didn't even really know that this was voiceover. I didn't know there was a career in it until I went to VoiceOver Atlanta, VO Atlanta in 2018. And it just, my mind blew. I was deep into marketing. I had long since pivoted out of radio, but I had never stopped voicing corporate narration and projects and radio spots. I used to run nightclubs here in Atlanta, so I would always
little things here and there.
Yeah, little things here and there, just nightclub
Just little
campaigns
things.
and, explainers and things like that, and people's voicemails. And I, again, still never knew it was actually a career for this until VO Atlanta. Wow. And my mind just blew how much just how vast this industry is and how much education and coaching and equipment, just all of it. And I was so sick of being away from her and working myself to the bone in corporate that I quit my job. A cold turkey. I had it right before
now
Christmas.
That's a role model right there.
Yeah.
Quit your way to the top.
Don't quit your day job. Yes, actually quit your day job. I had a safety net and had my husband and I had been planning on this for a while, but I was too far away from my kid. And I just thought if I could apply half of the knowledge that I had in marketing, in radio and equipment as a DJ.
You're a wonderful voice.
I guess, but that wasn't it. As we all know, it's not about the sound of your voice. And so I just knew, yes, baby, it's your personality and we shine. But I just knew that if I really put my heart and soul into it and went all in, that nothing but good could come out of it, or I'd learn my lesson and put my, head between my tail and roll on. And so I was doing it for a while, but then this one.
One day I came off the bus and I was like, you know that thing you do? What's it? Like voice over thingy? Can I try like a script or something?
She was 5.
I was 5. Okay. And you got like an average like script kids.
There's a couple of kids scripts.
Script,
like, sure, let's try one.
Yeah, and I loved it. And for like the next like week or two, I was like, ooh, can I have a script every time I came off the bus? Granted, again, I was 5. And
she couldn't even read, guys, but she was like, it was fun for her to parrot lines and like try different sounds and tones and personalities. And we were just having fun. This is back when, George, I hate to admit this, but we were in the Skid Row studios. You ever heard of those? You know, where you have mattresses against insulation and moving blankets.
We've seen it all.
Yeah.
That was the early days.
The smell,
as they are,
I know the smell of them, yeah.
Ooh, the smell. It was pretty gnarly. But that's where we kind of both.
And then like eventually like I started doing like 1 or 2 like actual things, and I did good. So
she did really
here
good.
I am.
So here she is, 5-year pro, and she's still surprising me every day. So it's just an honor and a pleasure to be able to have a chance to work with her.
So in other words, the apple don't fall too far from the tree.
Yeah. I guess not.
Cyla, did you have acting aspirations or interest in acting at all before the voice stuff?
I didn't really know that I've been dancing since I was 2, so I knew I was more like I was a performer. I wasn't a sports person. Never was, never will be.
Dance is a sport.
I'm not like a
Yes,
ball
it is.
sport person.
Marching band is also a sport, so.
Sure.
But like I knew I liked to perform and I loved being on stage, and I also loved talking, and I feel like that's where most things start. And so I knew like I like started piecing it together, and I was like performance, being on stage, talking,
being with mom.
It's wonderful.
When
money, we're living the dream.
We are living the dream. It was a really rocky dream at first, but I think now that we've worked out some kinks and had some time to do that and figure out what our niches are and what our strengths and our weaknesses are, it's a lot easier to kind of work within those ranges.
Yeah, well, it sounds like your business grew very quickly. I mean, if you started in so right before the pandemic, you started getting into this, and it apparently grew very quickly. Some people wait for years, and it takes them a while to really get into it. But I guess because of your background in marketing, that had
choppy,
a lot. Yeah,
smooth. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, what was that?
It was like it went like smooth, and it was like building up, and it was like started weird, but once you like kind of got like the hang of it just a little bit, it was able to like build up super easily.
This is my hype woman here. You guys know that? You guys have one of these? She's amazing.
Absolutely.
I told her none of this. We prepped it, none. No, I think that, there's a lot of that. I think I knew that I'm an all-in type of person. And I think in this industry, it takes a lot of bravery and some big risks to see a big payoff, a lot of investment. And I was ready to make that commitment and make that investment in myself because I could trust myself. And thankfully, my family, my husband was very supportive of this. And I just grinded hard and learned and absorbed everything I could, and then took everything I knew about acting and all of my years in theater and on the mic. And I don't know. I think, I'm very, very fortunate. I know it's not everyone's trajectory, but I think I surrounded myself with some of the best in the industry and learned a lot. And I'm still learning every single day. So just grateful for those opportunities and the people that showed me the way, and hope to, pass that on.
Yeah. If you're just joining us, our guests are Laya and Cyla Hoffman, and they're talking about their careers as a mother-daughter sort of team, and that's kind of interesting. We can talk about that a little bit. But tell us about the studio that you guys built. We've seen pictures of it. We're going to show a video of it, and you can sort of describe it as we're running it. You got that set up there, George?
I do.
Okay.
Sweet. You remember this thing?
Yeah.
This was filmed 2 years ago when Cyla was 8.
So I looked all weird.
I hope this works. Here we go.
Let's take a look.
Hey friends, welcome to our house.
Oh my God. Come check out our new studio. Come on in. So we just rebuilt our basement and designed it, and this was a huge part of it.
Yeah.
Come on inside. We're going to show you what makes this studio so special.
And so we wanted a space that was easy to be comfortable and invoke conversation. And so it was part podcasting space with fun, colorful energy that really just kind of...
It was the vibe.
It was the vibe. It kept us inspired with top quality equipment. You know, the podcasting, we don't necessarily need the Sennheiser for the show, but found some great stuff that worked for us in a nice, comfortable space. And then on the other side of the studio, we have where we're sitting right now, which is our primary voiceover booth station.
And it's vibing over here. We got little chalkboards and candles and
things that make it sweet and make it comfortable and fun and inspiring for us to keep doing what we do.
Very cool. Well, it's possibly one of the best looking studios we've seen. We've been in a lot of different studios that are, you know, they're incredible investment, and if you put if this is in your basement, that's always a big help.
Well, we
too,
hope you enjoyed the tour. Thanks for stopping by. We'll get out of here. We got work to do.
That's a lot of gear. It's a lot to set up. There's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
And it wasn't always that way.
No, trust me.
Skid Row Studios to a isolation booth that we built, and then when we
Dan
were
and I have been
back
teaching,
to a closet.
yeah.
Dan and I have been teaching how to set up and run this stuff for a long time, and it's evolving all the time. The gear to use, the cameras, the lights, it's a lot. So that's a heck of an accomplishment. Who helped you along your journey to get all that going?
Thank you. Well, actually, we built this during COVID, which was a challenge in so many ways.
Yes.
My good friend Tim Tippett was always just...
Yeah, we know Tim.
Sure you do. Who doesn't? And who doesn't love him if you know him? Such a giver to the community and just a gift, and has become such a good friend of both of ours. That's the tall guy.
Oh, tall guy.
Yes, super
Yeah,
tall
Mr.
guy.
Tall guy, yeah.
And so for a good part of that, Tim was kind of consulting virtually here and there, and just, you know, I could tap him for questions. But because we're here in Atlanta, GIK Acoustics is in the Atlanta area, and we're able to kind of also virtually guide me as to our placement of all of our acoustic panels. And then I was lucky enough to run into a good friend who owns a studio here, Soundbite, in Atlanta, and Zach was happy to sell me some of his panels. These are the Wegner tiles, and we've got those as floats above the cloud float above the studio space.
And then we covered them with fabric, and now they look
now we made them fancy, and we wanted to make it fun. But the whole place is double wall insulated. It's got sound barrier. It's got the green gorilla
glue
in there.
The goopy, sloppy, goopy stuff.
Triple pane window and solid core wood door, and it just feels good, and I wanted it to feel good to continue to inspire her and me to do our best and keep it sparkly every day, you know, right here at home.
Yeah. Once again, we're talking with Laya and Cyla Hoffman. If you've got a question for them, throw it in one of the chat rooms, wherever it is you happen to be watching this show. And Jeff Holman is standing back there somewhere, and he's typing all your questions down. So
thanks,
ask
Jeff.
those questions. We'll get to
Bring
those
it on.
in just a little bit.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff's a big star now. He's in all these series that you watch on TV. It's like, oh, look, there's Jeff.
Oh, hey, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff.
Okay. Let's see. So, what are some of your favorite projects to date that you've been working on?
Cy, what about you? What have been some of your favorites?
Not recently, but semi-recently, I did a commercial for Sienna Energy, and I really loved doing that. And it's a bunch of different commercials, but I loved doing it because I got to see myself as a CGI bear. Little baby bear.
She's the baby bear in the
it was fun
Sienna
to
Energy
do the
campaign.
voices.
Yes, and they just do such a beautiful job in production, and you see them all over the place, and so that's super fun.
And I also I did video game called Wonderscope, and it was a little story, and I was Baby Bear, again, with the bears. We got an ongoing theme here. But that was super fun because I also got to do a voice then.
It's augmented reality, which is so cool. It's like next level video gaming for these kids on the iPad, and all her friends play it, so that's pretty fun. Oh, you were on the Stephen Colbert show. That was
I
like
was Lambda.
my favorite for her was
was
being on
Lambda.
Colbert show.
That's cool.
Can't stay up late enough, not PG enough to watch it. But
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
my girl, are the voice. She was the voice of Lambda.
Artificial intelligence.
Do you talk for a living?
So you were playing the role of an AI
Artificial
character?
intelligence.
Of Lambda, the Google chatbot. When
Lambda.
Right.
yes, who had feelings and emotions for once, and was observing them. So
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
very
was good.
good.
Yes, exactly. And then you did what you won the award for.
Oh, nuts.com. Yeah, it's just a little thing.
Just a little thing. It won you an
That's the whole
award, so it was
thing.
just a little thing.
But what was fun about
It's
that is
gosh.
like we fly on Delta primarily out of Atlanta, and good because they're a client of mine. But then getting on the plane and she's getting served the product
That I'm
that
gonna go get.
talking about being nominated for award, talking about. So that was fun too. It's great to
Man.
see and eat the product you're talking.
Yeah, 'cause yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Those are some
Awesome.
good ones.
That's great. Once again, if you've got a question, throw it in the chat room because we'd like to hear from all of you who are watching our show right now because this is for you guys. And I'm sure you have questions that have to do with how you get your career moving really fast because apparently Laya really was able to get it in gear.
Work hard, play hard, friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Work hard.
Yeah. So what are some of your favorite projects, Laya?
I do primarily a lot of commercial work, but I think my favorite of all time had to be I did the opening for the X Games in 2021 and 2022. They have since changed hands, and X got sold out of ESPN and into an independent group. So we'll see about that this season. But it was my favorite because moving to Colorado and snowboarding was kind of what brought my voice back after some late teenage years trauma, and it's how I connect best with nature. Oh, you're getting cozy. Okay, we'll get cozy. And the games are just so important and so dynamic. And then it was actually what I was nominated for best television promo in the multi-gender category for best promo at the One
Again,
Voice.
just a little thing.
Thanks,
Can I-
kid.
can I-
Hype
It's
girl.
pretty cool, and it's not that long. Can I show it?
Sure, go
Can
for
you?
it.
Well, I mean, I found
You-
one.
you
It's
can
X
show it.
Games Aspen 2020.
Is that
Can I
it?
run that one?
Yeah,
I
show
think
it.
so.
Yeah.
Was it 2020, 21? What year is it anyway?
It came up as
23.
2020 when I searched. So let's take a look at that one.
Hopefully
because
that one's me.
It
Oh,
says
you're gonna
voiceover
It
by
was on your
Laya-
website, so
Laya
Okay, then
Hoffman.
yes, it's
that'll
me.
probably.
It says voiceover by Laya Hoffman, so I really hope it is.
Yeah.
Let me see
No,
if
I
I
was-
can make this work.
Yeah. And this opens the games, so it was a big honor to see that on ABC.
Give me a
and-
moment. I'll see if I can get it
Yeah.
together. And
It's basically, I can mime it. It's like people flying around all over the place, upside down, landing, not landing.
exactly.
Things you could do in your sleep, Dan. Right?
Right. Oh no, the things I do in my sleep.
Here it
Keep
is,
that to
here.
yourself.
I got
Exactly.
it. I
Please.
finally got
Okay. Okay.
the right tab and the right window.
Okay,
and the
let's
right
watch
order.
X Games. Laya
Into the
Hoffman.
unknown they climb, finding their way back to where it all began.
That was his first year. Oh, I missed that.
Mountain of possibility.
Oh,
A
for
gathering
crying
of
out loud.
Me too.
souls, unified by the freedom to just be. New faces, experienced
Right.
joy,
Missed it.
frustration, and the pursuit of what has never been done before.
Welcome to Precocious's Playground.
It's long, guys, but
They come to
okay.
reach new heights, glory packaged in a dream.
Oh my goodness! What?
No, their motivations are simpler.
You get the idea.
You get the idea. And kill him, guys. And kill him all out.
But
That's
that
the
is
close lead.
I'm a snow
that was
sports person
actually
too, so I
yes,
appreciate that a lot.
exactly. And that was not the one that I won for best promo.
Yeah.
The subsequent years were.
Yeah, this was more of a narration, I guess, huh?
But I was stoked to just be a part of the games, and tons of
Yeah.
great commercials, some great stuff with BMW and Google and Amazon, and some of our favorite brands. So it's really nice.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, since you both won the awards, what can we got a lot of people who are in the voiceover business who watch this show because who else would want to watch it?
Our parents,
yeah, exactly.
your grandparents,
Parents and grandparents, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Mine watch.
Hi, fam.
What can talent do or expect to gain from getting some of these awards?
That's a good question.
Bragging rights.
Bragging rights, sure. To who?
Ego boosting.
Yes. I really wanted to do that to include Cyla in the community of voiceover, and I thought if she got a nomination, maybe we would go to the show and she would get to see that it's not just us talking to ourselves in a box. Of course, she's been to VO Atlanta. We went to Martha Khan's segment last year with the kids segment of VO Atlanta, but this was important to show her what an epic community of people there are in this industry.
For me, getting the award,
yes, please.
For me, getting the award really gave me recognition that I've been looking for the 6 years that I've been doing this, because it's hard when you're talking to yourself and you don't really know that people see you and people are listening. You know that people are paying attention, especially if you're actually getting things.
Like booking a job.
Yes.
You kind of feel like you do get to pay here and there, and you get occasional praise. Maybe someone says we like that, but a lot of it you never hear.
You never hear
see
yourself, and you never hear generally what other people think, and then getting the
or your
award,
colleagues, right? The other people in your industry, which is just as important, if not more important, in my opinion.
And then getting the award really made me feel like, oh wow, I'm good at this, and people are actually paying attention to what I'm doing.
Yeah,
Right.
It's like big spark moment.
Yeah, and it was important for me to show her this amazing level of support that the community can have. But then after the event, because of the social media, and you never know how that's really paying off, but social media may have put us top of mind for me in a certain very, very popular casting director's eyes, who then singled me out and said, I need you out of 10 women in the country to, I want to hear you on the spot that's coming up for a very, very large branding campaign. And I booked it off my audition. So for me, was that hand in hand? Maybe, probably not, but just having that ding in the social space to say, oh yeah,
we did that.
Laya Hoffman, I was thinking about, yes, she might be great for that. And in other ways, with our agents, with our clients, a talking point to say, hey, our quarterly touch, and these are some of the accomplishments that we've been recognized for. And it's just a healthy, happy, positive talking point. And the world needs a little bit more of that positivity, and I think wants to celebrate each other for our successes. So, and I want to celebrate her.
Yeah. I have always found that the best reward is when someone sends you a check and it clears, which is even better.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Once again, we're talking with Laya and Cyla Hoffman about their careers. And of course, I've always been the opinion, if you got a talented kid and you've got a nice voiceover studio, might as well help them pay the rent, or at least help them with their college fund. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, how do you manage all that? That's not easy.
It isn't. We came up with a nice strategy for her to see some of those benefits and those rewards. Do you want to tell them what you make, Cyla?
Well, for starters, I make yada yada. Okay, no. For
how much
me,
do you get paid per audition?
Yeah. We have this system for me. When I do work, I get paid $4 for an audition by my mom to me. I get $25 for a job. I get $10 for a tag for a job, and I get $15 for a session.
No.
Yeah.
Nope. $25 for the job and $10 for an interview.
Great. Yeah.
She just made $10
Oh.
off you guys tonight. Thanks, guys.
Cha-ching.
All right.
we keep it very simple for
I like that.
her,
That
but
keeps it
everything
very-
else gets put into her savings account, and she has, of course, a Roth IRA. She gets paid. She's an earner, and as you may know, $6,000 a year, the government says untaxed, goes into a high yield savings account for kids. And I think we did some calculations, and if
Coogan.
she can, well, Coogan as well.
Yeah.
But we can also do that IRA, the Roth. And I think we did the math once that if we maxed out her IRA every year from the time she started when she was 5, she'd be a millionaire in interest alone by the time she was 30.
So she could retire real early.
I mean, if they can still retire at $1 million in what, 20 years? It costs the way things are going up these days.
That's fantastic.
So
Yeah, that's-
there's some
awesome.
there's some transparency in what she knows she's earning from the job,
Yeah.
but that's more important to show, this is a job. And while you're supposed to keep it fun, to keep your kids engaged, at the end of the day, we got to work. And whether we
Yeah.
feel like it or not, the client doesn't care. Like, you got to show up and be professional and get it done. And she does an excellent job at that, even though there are days where neither one of us feels like.
Cyla, when did you know, oh, this is actually a job? Like, because when we started with little young actors, we try to make it feel like play. We want you to be playing and having fun. But when did you know, oh, this is a job? I have to show up.
I have to show up, and I have to like be present for this. But really hit like maybe 2 years ago when we made the studio, and then I knew this was a job, and I could I was aware that it was an actual job when I started, because I knew that she was making money from it and it was her job. And when I got into it, I was like, this is now going to be my job.
Well, I think at a young age too, she would be in sessions with multiple producers on the call, and it's no longer me. It's her. And if she can't carry that conversation and listen to direction, sometimes I thought once she was like 6 or 7 years old and there was 9 people giving input on a call, which is insane for anyone.
Yeah, even for us experienced pros.
Absolutely.
Exactly. And 3 of them have accents, and she's like, how do I process this? That was when we were working. But she's kept it fun, and I think her personality helps keep that engaged and keeps it playful, and that keeps the spirit and the sparkle alive in the kids' voiceover delivery. But at the end of the day, we have had some,
I've like wanted to play sometimes, or like I'm not feeling.
No, girl, you gotta work.
I don't have like the right attitude, and then like if I get a job or I have an audition, if I book something, I have to come down here and I gotta do it.
And at the same time, though, I also have the wherewithal to say, you know what? Not now. Not now, for her, to protect her and insulate her energy and her time and her output and her, her personal space. I will turn things down or say somebody that, this is not happening today.
Yeah.
And you got to respect that too. They're kids. So.
Absolutely. Once again, we're talking with Laya and Cyla Hoffman. Again, if you've got a question, throw it in the chat room. We have some room for some questions, but we're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, we're going to talk about your podcast and how much fun you're having doing that. So
And there's some questions finally. We got a few queuing up.
All right. So get those questions in there. We'll be right back here on VoiceOver Body Shop right after these messages. Don't go away.
This is the Latin lover narrator from Jane the Virgin, Anthony Mendez, and you're enjoying Dan and George on the VoiceOver Body Shop.
Setting up for voiceover recording on the road can be a real hassle. You can't bring your boom stand with you. The solution? After 6 long months, Harlan Hogan's VoiceOverEssentials.com finally has their popular desktop stand back in stock. The Harlan Hogan adjustable height desktop stand fits US and all international microphones with its thread adapter. It features quick assembly and has a low center of gravity for great stability, making it great for home and on the road. The two-way adjustable desk stand gives you infinite height adjustment from 5.5 to 8.75 inches. And the rubber-ringed, low-profile base fits perfectly into the pre-cut desk stand slot of both the Portabooth Pro and Plus. They're back, and they're keeping the pre-shortage price. Damn inflation has become their motto. The Harlan Hogan Adjustable Height Desktop Mic Stand, just $39.95, and only at voiceoveressentials.com.
Hey, that's me on camera. So that means I'm supposed to talk about Source Elements, the creators of Source Connect. I'm doing the show long enough that I don't have to remember to do that. It's just a Pavlovian thing. Oh, I'm on camera. Talk about that company. Source Elements is a wonderfully run company. In fact, another Voice Arts Awards. One Voice. Sorry, guys. Another One Voice Awards winner this year. Best Service Provider again. They beat me and Uncle Roy in the same category. But they deserve it. They have an incredibly good service backing up this technology of Source Connect. That is what's used to connect studios from place to place remotely all around the world. And anytime you're connecting multiple studios, there's a lot to keep track of. There's definitely a lot of technology. Networking quality has to be very high, and there has to be a way to make sure everything is running correctly and deal with problems when they come up and do it quickly. And that's what they do. They have, again, great support. It's a great technology. It's a female-owned company, which, that's something that's very important to keep in mind. It's just a very great organization. So if you want to get involved, if you want to have Source Connect in your studio, make sure you've got the building blocks of a good studio first. You do need quiet on demand. If you don't know what that is, ask us. We know. And then you can get started at source-elements.com and get your account set up and get started using this amazing remote studio technology. Anyway, thanks Source Elements for your support of the show. Really appreciate it over here. And let's get back to the rest of the show, to those questions right after this.
Well, hey there, it's David H. Lawrence with VO Heroes, and wouldn't it be cool if there was a very simple tool, drag and drop tool, that would guarantee that the audio you need to upload to ACX or any other audiobook platform is perfectly set up in terms of the text standards, the root mean square normalization, the peak normalization, the noise floor? Guess what? There is. And I want you to have it absolutely free. It's called Audio Cupcake, and you can find it at audiocupcake.com. I helped create this software. It was built to my specs and my standards for when I do audiobooks, and I know it's going to work for you. Now, it's only available for Macintosh because you Windows users, you have the ability to use other tools that work for you. But in this case, you edit your final raw WAV file for a chapter, you drop it onto Audio Cupcake, and out comes the 192K mono MP3 file you can upload immediately. That's audiocupcake.com, audiocupcake.com. I hope you love it.
This is Bill Ratner, and you're enjoying VoiceOver Body Shop with Dan Leonard and George Whittam. VOBS.TV.
Alrighty, we're back. I forgot one little thing from my trip out west. Well, I am out west. It was actually back east because I was going into Utah. But in Leadville, Colorado, I found this in an antique store.
What is that?
We will have to talk about that later, but I like the title. I don't know.
See, there's an old joke from back in my time. You call a tobacco shop. You say, "Do you have Prince Albert in a can?" And they go, "Yes, we do." Well, let him out.
Ba-dum-bum.
That's called a
That's a
joke.
dad joke.
That is definitely a
I'm
dad
telling
joke.
that to Dad. Oh, wait, no, he's on here. No, this is not good.
Now he's going to hear it. And anyway. So anyway, the two of you, we've got a few questions we want to get to from our vast worldwide audience. But first, I want to hear about your podcast, She Sounds Like Me. Tell us all about it and the inspiration for the show and any updates we can look forward to.
Mm-hmm. You want to start off?
Yeah. So
what got you going doing this?
We started the podcast in the beginning of COVID. COVID-19. But it was we basically started it to talk about big topics or conflicts and things that were happening in our lives as like a time capsule for when COVID was done, or for whenever, or when I grew up, or basically whenever.
Like an audio time capsule. We already had all the gear. We had this awesome studio, and there was a lot of intense conversations being had in our house, and thought, hey, let's talk about this, because I don't know, I'm not finding any resources out there about how to speak to your kids about death, about bullying, about there was, all kinds of harassment going on in the world, the politics of COVID, everything that was pretty heavy, but she was seeing from the screen, because our TVs were our constant source of information at that time. And so we just started recording it.
And then we eventually wanted to share them with the world, so we put them on podcast platforms, not really expecting anything to happen, just for anyone who wanted to listen. And they
really
could
just
listen.
For us. And I think we were shocked at how fast that kind of resonated with people. We were getting messages from people all over the world, and it's still just a bootstrapped podcast. We're going into our 5th season this fall. We like to say we talk about monster topics made small for conscious kids and their modern-minded grown-ups. And we still do, although we had some really big family hardships last year. It's kind of well known out there now, but a year ago tomorrow, I had my first reconstruction surgery for breast cancer, and so I'm fine and happy to be cancer free now. But it was a lot that our family has gone through, and a lot of heavy topics that the kids hear, and it's more important than ever, I think, to really listen to our kids and to hear what they have to say, so we can make adjustments and apply those to the world, and also to show them life. Yes, but also to show them that their voice matters, and they can stand up and they can be heard. And that's the show has proven that, because the response has been incredible. And it's just, I think, the only parent-child chat cast of its kind that's not scripted, and is bold, and and started as young as she was. So yeah, she sounds like me.
I mean, did you find that you guys just have really great conversations, and you just figured, well, we'll start recording this and see what happens?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Dan. Exactly right.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
that's how we started our show too.
Crazy. How ironic. But as you know, it's a lot of effort to put in especially when you're bootstrapping your own business. You guys are sponsored. We are not. We have no Patreon. It is fully self-funded labor of love. And, while we took a little bit of a break, I'm glad that we didn't have anyone else to count on but ourselves, but we still get messages all the time like, what's going on? Where are you guys? I'm like, sorry, I had cancer. I'll be right back. And so we're going to launch again this fall.
Oh, that's great.
Thank you for asking. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what kind of topics have you covered, and what has it sounded like, and why is it people are just drawn to it?
I don't know.
We ask ourselves the same.
Yeah, it's like, for some reason, people keep watching us. We're not sure why, but
yeah, I mean, we have hit some hard stuff. School shootings and bullying and racism, systemic racism, financial issues, the challenges of working together. That's just a tiny, tiny part of it. We really don't bring in the voiceover element as a focal point whatsoever. More about what's happening in their age group and what they're dealing with, and then what's happening in society. Yeah, it's more about that.
Big world stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking at the titles right here on the episodes. Yeah.
I mean, if I were to ask Cyla about what do you think about global climate change, because I know kids are like totally, really the ones pushing that right now.
Yes. What would you say?
I would say for all those people that aren't believing in global warming and climate change, are you living in a hole? Where have you been for the last 4 years? What?
4 years?
4 years? Jeez.
100 years.
I remember this during the Clinton administration, for crying out loud.
Right. So, I mean, the kids will change the world for us, I hope. And so, we better start listening. And I think this is just our little attempt at that.
Yeah. Once again, if you've got a question for Laya and Cyla about all the stuff that they're doing, throw it in the chat room right now. We've got one here from Fiber Jazz.
Yeah.
Fiber Jazz. What a great handle.
That's
Nice
really
handle.
different. Yeah. Let's see. They ask, does Cyla have regular sessions with a voiceover coach?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't have regular sessions, but I have occasional. I had a singing coach when a
that
while
was a
ago.
regular, because that's a huge part of the work that kids are asked to do on a regular basis. So she would do weekly classes, one-on-one privates with a singing coach for probably the last 3 years.
And then
Courtney Cutchins, shout out to our girl.
Sea Dragon's
Songhouse. Yes. And then Sarah Sherman, as far as her VO coaching goes.
And
Sarah Sherman.
Sandy
DeLonga, who's amazing. Martha Kahn, as you know. Kelly Buttrick has helped out. Nicole Britton. All kinds of pros in their own way.
But I haven't had any regular once a week coaching. I've had little spurts here and there.
Or workshops and things like that.
Yeah.
What do you think are some of the things that you could improve upon?
That's a great question.
That is a great question.
That's why I answered.
I do.
I said
a potty word. Anyway, I could work on. Normally when I'm reading a script, I hear something one way in my mind, and then I think I'm changing it every time I'm saying it, but I'm not. I'm just repeating the same thing over and over again. And I need
more variation.
I need to work on being able to actually make my mouth say something else than what I'm listening to.
We all do, honey. Yeah, no, but she actually does an incredible job at variations in immediate takes. It's, I think, one of your strong points. So that's interesting to hear you say that, but I know where that's coming from. She had an animation project today that we had to pull her out of school for.
I was just saying the same thing over and over again.
I'm like, you're not reading the book. We're in session right now. You got to change that up.
Right.
So, yeah, that's a good
Interesting.
point.
Yeah, you want to take the second part of that, George?
Yeah, and he also asks, are there any groups or organizations specifically for children voiceover actors where they can share their interest, tips, and challenges?
Not really, which sucks because
We'll start one then.
In your spare time.
Yeah.
Right.
Welcome
Thanks, jazz
to
hands.
Welcome to kids chat about voiceover like adults. Let's talk.
Let's talk about talking. No, but Martha Kahn's program with VO Atlanta, the kids segment last year, was a big hit. It was the first time I had seen in group multiple kids in varied age ranges from 6 to 16 really come together and be able to coach together in group, and then also share some of their own personal experiences, and then have also sessions where the parents were hearing from these coaches or these professionals or these other pro children. And we hope to join them in next year's session as presenters, as we were asked last year, and hope to join them this year. But other than that, Atlanta Voiceover Studio sometimes does kids sessions. They do a workshop or 6-week programs, and so they're a great resource that we know of here.
But sadly, there's no really talking about how you're dealing with things and the stress that you're getting from the jobs for kids. I mean, I have this person right here, but I don't have any friends that do this too. And I know some friends that live very far away, and I know of them, but I don't talk to them, and there's no real communication level of talking.
Dude, this is a whole idea. I just see it coming. My marketing mind just went blah, 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 blah. KCVO. Thanks, Michael from Facebook. So we'll it's something worth growing on. I think there's a great new book. Those kids that were in the same category as you, there's 8 of them. I don't know. Their parents just wrote a book about it, but they're not voice actors. So I can't really, and I've never read it, so I don't want to give that out as a resource. But it's interesting because sometimes when they do Zoom workshops, you might have 8 kids coming in from all over the country, and keeping their attention in a 3-hour workshop. Let me just say that does not work
No.
for kids. So, I
Our
wish
attention spans are like not that
Yeah.
long.
like a nap.
Having been a teacher,
Like a
tell me
nap.
about it. I used to teach
see?
high school.
Oh, I'm
question-
so sorry.
Yeah, I loved it. Anyway, question from Cliff Hoffman.
It's our dad.
And I was going to say,
My dad.
any relation? Have you guys ever worked
Totally.
together on a job?
Great
Yes.
question,
Oh.
Cliff Hoffman.
Thank you. I have, wow.
Yes,
Okay.
actually, we've done quite a few. I think what's cool is that a lot of times when you get auditions from agents or even casting sites, they'll say,
you have
hey, if you have a kid at home and you want to, there's a parent-child conversation happening here, you want to get your kid on it. Sometimes that's how kids, get the role or start their career even. And so we've done some stuff for,
Sesame Street,
yeah.
Pandora.
She was the youngest child on the Pandora roster
Ooh.
years ago when she started when she was 5, and so since then we're
not that
still
young.
with Pandora. Shout out to them, and because of that, we are on a lot of duo spots through Pandora, like HBO, Sesame Street, some local bank type commercials and grocery stores, and the convo back and forth thing is usually our hotspot.
Yeah. I mean, if you're at Pandora, you guys might be able to work with me because I do stuff with Pandora too. It's fun stuff.
It sure is.
Nice work if you can get it, as the song says.
Yeah, exactly.
They're very picky about who they have doing their stuff.
They are, and Steve Bogash and the whole crew at Studio Resonant, shout out to them. Love working with them, and they've just been so good to us for years. And the same goes for our friends at Sunspots. So with both of those big production houses, that happens to give a lot of work, especially for a duo.
Excellent.
Yeah.
George, you want to take that next question from Michael Bleha?
Sure. For both of you, what sorts of projects or VO genres do you find you do most consistently, and which are your favorites?
Commercials. They pay the most, and they take the least amount of time.
And they're really fun.
And they're super fun.
Simple answer.
I prefer promos, television promos in show narration. I have like a super deep warmth and a big versatility in my range. And so because of that, it lends really nicely in the promo space, especially for sports promo and things like that, and in show narration.
Like really, X Games.
Like my hype girl. She's the best. And Cyla would love to do, I think, more animation because
but I really enjoy commercials because I do, even though it's not technically animation. Like even though there can be things
animated commercials,
but I really like being able to play with the little like different like conversations and brands that I know, and like being able to see a brand that I know while doing the brand that I know, like nuts.com. I knew nuts.com before I did that, and it was fun because I knew what the product was, and that
makes it easier, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
Because you're like, I know what that is. I can actually be hype about that. I can do that.
Interesting is that since we're in Atlanta, and even though we, shout out to Source Connect, can connect to anyone in the world from our pro studio here, it is interesting post-pandemic, now that we're out of the fray or the big wave, it seems like they are wanting kids to be in studio for more and more than they were before. And so we had a little window of time where we had the advantage being here in Atlanta with a pro studio. But as far as animation goes, it seems like if you're in LA, they want you in LA. And that's really hard for kids. And so right now, those opportunities are fewer and far between.
Yeah, I think that's going to change, though. Once things are settled down here in Hollywood and they realize, look, there's a lot of talented kids out there who can do this type of work.
Yeah, great question, though. Thank you.
One last question from Jeff Holman. He says, he grew up in Denver. What radio station did you work for? KAZY or KPPI that rocks the Rockies?
KFMU in Steamboat Springs. And then my show was syndicated through, and I couldn't give you the call letters now. There's several mountain towns out there that show got picked up on, but I was on The Yampa Valley Zone, KFMU.
Yampa Valley Zone, KFMU.
You're
Once
stuck in Steamboat Springs? God, that's...
Stuck is a beautiful place.
Heaven. Heaven. We still
If you ski, it's like, why ski anywhere else? I'd love that.
Snowboard.
Rocky
It's
Powder. Snowboarding. Okay.
Yes, Dan.
Thank you.
It's the next generation
Knuckle
after
draggers.
Yeah, exactly. Well, guys, it has been fabulous having you with us tonight. We've been looking forward to talking to you, and congratulations again on your...
leave?
What?
We have to leave?
Well, you don't have to
go home,
leave.
but you can't stay
He just
here.
doesn't
You
want to
can't
go
stay
to
here.
bed.
Yeah, exactly. Reminds me when we used to do the show and when I was back in Buffalo and my wife would say, Jacob needs to go to bed. Stop your show.
You would hear bump, 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 bump.
We knew someone was coming upstairs. Anyway, thanks for being with us. Again, if people want to listen to your podcast, where can they hear it?
SheSoundsLikeMe.com and anywhere you find podcasts. Yes, and you can find both of us at LayaHoffman.com or Cyla's is CylaGrace.com. There you go. And yeah, we're all on the socials. You can connect with me. I'm mostly on Instagram at Laya Hoffman. And happy to answer any questions or follow up with any of your amazing listeners. So thanks for having us tonight,
Super duper.
Gentlemen. And
All
thanks
right.
to everybody out there watching.
Laya and Cyla Hoffman, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
All righty. All right, we're going to take a quick break and re-rack it for Tech Talk, so don't go away. We'll be right back.
You're still watching VOBS?
Your dynamic voiceover career requires extra resources to keep moving ahead. There's one place where you can explore everything the voiceover industry has to offer. That place is voiceoverextra.com. Whether you're just exploring a voiceover career or a seasoned veteran ready to reach that next professional level, stay in touch with market trends, coaching, products, and services while avoiding scams and other pitfalls. VoiceOver Extra has hundreds of articles, free resources, and training that will save you time and help you succeed. Learn from the most respected talents, coaches, and industry insiders when you join the online sessions, bringing you the most current information on topics like audiobooks, auditioning, home studio setup and equipment, marketing, performance techniques, and much more. It's time to hit your one-stop daily resource for voiceover success. Sign up for a free subscription to newsletters and reports. It's all here at voiceoverextra.com. That's voiceoverextra.com.
Well, now I get to do what George does, which is a live spot with no script. And we're going to talk about voiceactor.com. Voiceactor.com is the place to get your website. If you don't have a website yet and you're a voice actor, chances are no one's going to even know you're there. So you have to have a website. It's part of the professional things you have to have. And you have to have a good one. But it's not easy to get a website. So my good friend Joe Davis and the folks over at voiceactorwebsites.com came up with a great new concept, voiceactor.com. Totally templated websites you can start for free and get yourself online with their easily templated websites. And the thing about a template is you can change the colors, you can change the text, you can put the pictures you want in there. But the most important thing with any voice actor website is that it has, well, one, your name, two, your contact information, but most importantly, your demos. And you don't really need a whole lot. People tend to make these big, elaborate websites. It's like catching people's attention right off the bat when you're doing a spot. You simply have to get their attention, get your name, your voice, and your contact information, and that's really what's most important. And then if you want to continue with that, it's $20 a month to be online and have a server and all the things that you need to have on a website. So go over to voiceactor.com. That's voiceactor.com and check it out and get your own website up and running like that.
We are the World Voices Organization,
also known as WOVO. We're the not-for-profit industry association of freelance voice talent. Voiceover is a complex entrepreneurial business.
WOVO is there to promote the professional nature of voice work to the public, to those already established in their voiceover practice,
and to those who want to pursue voiceover as a career.
Membership benefits include
a supportive and creative community,
a profile and demos on voiceover.biz, our searchable directory of vetted professional voice talent,
our exclusive demo player for your personal website,
our mentoring program, business resources, and our video library,
our annual WovoCon conference, a fun and educational weekend with other members with the chance to learn and network,
webinars and great speakers, and weekly social chats with other members around the world.
If your world is voiceover,
make WOVO part of it. World Voices Organization.
We speak for those who speak for a living.
Yeah, hi, this is Carlos Alazraki, the voice of Rocco, and you're watching Voiceover Body Shop.
And we're back to say goodbye for at least this segment. Our thanks again.
I know Laya's still there, and I want to tell her that Martha knows that we talked about her, and she appreciates it. And she's absolutely proud and crazy about them. So Martha Kahn says hi.
All right. Yeah. Well, we can tell that these two got personality. They got game for what it takes to succeed in this business. You know, talent and the ability to market themselves, which is great.
Yeah.
We need to thank all sorts of people. But first, we need to tell you that next week on this very show, unless you stick around for a little bit, will be Tech Talk number 110. And yeah, we've been doing it that long. And if you've got any questions, make sure you throw them in the chat room. And then in the next couple of weeks, I know we have Harlan Hogan's going to be joining us and to complain about something. And then we've got a lot of other great guests as the year moves on. How can it almost be October already? For crying out loud. Anyway, let's see here. People want to work with you, George. Where do they go?
Yeah, no. GeorgeThe.tech. If you want deals, go to GeorgeThe.tech/VOBS.
All righty. And you can meet me over at homevoiceoverstudio.com, but we'll talk about that in Tech Talk. Need to thank our donors of the week like Greg Cooper.
Oh, Grace Newton.
Christopher Epperson.
Robert Leadham.
Stephen Chandler.
Casey Clack.
Jonathan Grant.
Thomas Pinto.
Greg Thomas.
A Dr. Voice.
Antland Productions.
Martha Kahn.
Martha Kahn. But she's gotten lots of mentions tonight.
We love it.
Yeah, 949 Designs.
Sarah Borges.
Philip Sapir.
Brian Page.
Rob Ryder.
Shauna Pennington Baird.
Don Griffith.
Trey Mosley.
Diana Birdsall.
Maria Mackis.
And Sandra Manwiller. Hey, you can join our mailing list, too, so you can see what great guests we've got coming up. Just go to our website, VOBS.tv, and click on subscribe, and it'll take you there. Also need to thank our amazing sponsors like Harlan Hogan's Voiceover Essentials,
Voiceover Extra,
Source Elements,
VOHeroes.com,
VoiceActor.com,
and
WorldVoices.org, where I'm not only a client, I am the president. So I said join now. We need to thank, of course, the amazing Jeff Holman, whose IMDb is Jeff Holman. Makes it easy to find.
He's not hard to find. IMDb.me/Jeff Holman.
Right. All you have to do is watch
That's
TV.
One L. HOLMAN.
Yeah. And of course, for all his work in the chat room tonight. And Sue Merlino for really being on the ball tonight with all those cues of, gotta get this thing on there. So we really appreciate
Just as she's gotten good at it, we're going to make her learn a whole new system.
Yeah,
right, Sue?
Exactly.
She's so excited.
Yeah. And of course, Lee Penny for being just Lee Penny. Well, look, this isn't an easy business, but we bring you the people that know and succeed in this business and how to succeed in this business. And that's really why we're here to help you out with your voiceover business. But we've really come to the conclusion, if it sounds good, if it sounds good.
It is good. It is good.
I'm Dan Leonard.
I'm George Whittam.
And this is Voiceover
Body Shop.
Or VOBS. Stay tuned for Tech Talk. Thanks, everybody.